Okay, yeah, welcome back. Sorry we can't take a minute feature this morning, but today's healthy topic we will be discussing cardiac arrest. Yes, cardiac arrest. It has been important we have this conversation. And the reason being that there have been a lot of people slumming, from here to there. Yeah, oh, this person just slummed and died. This person just slummed while alive or while enjoying life, And so we decided to talk about it. And again, because the rainy seasons are here, let us know what is surrounding cardiac arrest. And we have our guest this morning who's joining us via Zoom, though right now he's still not here, but once he joins us on Zoom, we are going to be bringing him up. He is one of our in-house doctors and medical team. Cardiac arrest. Wow. So when I was reading on cardiac arrest this morning, I discovered that it's different from heart attack.
Very different.
Cardiac arrest is different from heart attack. So people say, oh, he had heart attack. So now there's a whole lot of difference from cardiac arrest to heart attack. I think heart attack has to come with a lot of underlying sicknesses, but I also believe that cardiac arrest too must have given you one or two signs. It doesn't just come spontaneous like that. But well, all the same, while we are waiting for our guest, our doctor, to join us via Zoom, I want you to know that anybody can suffer from cardiac arrest. Now, that is just it. It doesn't have a timely age limit, but there are certain things you can do to timely intervene when one has cardiac arrest. It could be the mouth-to-mouth arrest, because the story that went viral a few weeks back of the man that was celebrating the wife's 60th birthday, and I read through, and one of his friends came out. He's also a medical doctor anyway. He said that while that man slumped, the man didn't die instantly.
Of course.
That he was trying to give a CPR, and people are saying, no, don't hurt him, Hey, and in the course of that,
don't hurt him. And don't they know that he's a medical
And he was like, this
doctor.
Is what we can give for now. And people are like, no, don't hurt him, don't touch him, don't. And before they rushed the man to the hospital, he actually gave us that. If they had
Please join us
him,
now, sir. Good morning,
if they had allowed him to give that CPR at that point, that he would have saved that his friend's life. And that thing, when I read it, I was like, wow, we always like that. Somebody slumps and the next thing you're saying, don't hurt him, don't do this, don't do that. And he's trying to save somebody's life, And a lot of people have actually lost their lives like that, because in trying to save somebody, they say, I know.
I think it's an act of carelessness. It's an act of carelessness in the sense that we are not, as much as the advocacy had always come up one way or the other at a particular point in time, maybe on social media, that we need to understand and know what we can do to help someone who is, going through that episode of cardiac arrest, or even at attack. Many of our people just don't take cognizance of how serious and how important it is to help to save lives. I believe that we'll continue to talk, we'll continue to speak about it, we'll continue to do more campaign awareness, advocacy, we'll continue to flow in here and there so that we will understand that even a 10-year-old, who knows how to put a CPR into progression, into process, can also save life. Because in the process of doing this, it makes everyone to, not just for you to carry your phone and, and
start making
videos. They try to save the life. No. When someone slumps, what are the first step, those steps we need to take? What should we do? How do we go about it? Okay, how do we know it's cardiac arrest? Some they will tell you don't say anything. Some they will tell you keep talking. It depends on the kind of injury or whatever it is you're going through at that particular point in time. Like when someone is shot, maybe in the tummy, in the stomach, or on the chest, you're told not to say, don't say anything. Just keep quiet, to sustain, to retain, I don't know. But the doctors will always help us to put this to understanding that these are the steps, and that's why we're here this morning. It's really just yesterday I heard one of, sure, God forgive me, don't let me say anything. One man, I think when they were having a co-meeting, also slummed. Okay, he was rushed to the hospital, Kolade Alabi. And, you know, it just came up like that. And I'm like, wow, excuse me, what is happening? He's not a fat person. So some will say, it is people who are fat. I'm not fat after all. I'm talking of a slim man. I know him. And I know he's someone, you know, those people that can never grow fat. No matter how much they are rich.
Anyway, we have
so that's just about it. So it's good that doctor is joining us now. No, so I'm not fat, right? So people who are fat, but it's not. That's not it.
Good morning to you, doctor.
Doctor, it's so good to have you finally. Finally. The Lord has done it finally. Smile, Daddy.
You know how it
smile, doctor.
After how many months and weeks? Should I say
doctor, you are not smiling, no. You are not smiling. Doctor, you must smile. Yes. Smile, yeah, I love that laughter. It's very good to see you this morning.
Yes, when I reached out to him, he said, Joy, don't worry. I said, you better don't. It's good to have you.
It's good to have you this morning.
Now, cardiac
Welcome.
arrest. Now, what is cardiac arrest and how does it differ from heart attack? What is cardiac arrest and how does it differ from heart attack?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Good to be alive today. I'm hearing echo there. All right, so it's better now. So, good morning. Cardiac arrest is simply when the heart stops functioning and it can lead to loss of consciousness and even no breathing. So, in a nutshell, when the heart stops functioning, a condition, and it's usually of sudden onset. So when the heart suddenly stops functioning, and the person is unconscious and is not breathing, you can say that that is cardiac arrest. So that loss of consciousness and no breathing is as a result of the fact that the heart stops functioning. And when we say stop functioning, it means that the heart cannot pump blood. Its activities, activities have stopped, albeit temporarily. So that's when we say there is cardiac arrest.
Thank you very much, doctor. I want to ask, are there warning signs? Even though you did not mention me, you did not greet me this morning. Dr. Ima, you did not greet me this morning. I don't know why. But I want to ask, even though you are smiling, I'm not going to fall for your smile because I'm fighting with you this morning, but it's so good to see you. So I want to ask, what are the warning signs we need to look out for? And when it comes to cardiac arrest. Now, many will say it's only for fat people. It's only when you are fat and your blood is blah 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 blah. No, those who are slim they don't go through cardiac arrest. Is that true? So I have to question, what are the warning signs? And when someone suddenly slump, just like what we're trying to put across before you joined us, what should be the first step? What should we do in a process of CPR?
Okay, thank you very much. I greet you again, Romy and Joy. Let me greet you properly and start again. So the question is about three, so it means I'm going to just flow and also educate our listeners on cardiac arrest. And like I say, cardiac arrest is when the heart suddenly stops functioning, and then there is loss of consciousness and no breathing. It must be distinguished from heart attack. You know, cardiac arrest. So they are not the same. It's also good to enlighten our. When we think about cardiac arrest, we think about when the heart stops functioning and usually an electrical activity. So the heart looks like an organ that is wired electrically. So some electrical impulse or transmission works in the function. So in the event that the physical activity of the heart ceases for any reason, there will be cardiac arrest. But when you talk of heart attack, the heart may still be functioning, but it is just the blood supply that to the muscles of the heart, the blood supply to the heart is cut off. So, and that's why a heart attack usually feel pain. The heart is being attacked because it's not getting the blood supply. What we call coronary vessels, one or two, or some of the coronary vessels may be blocked. So there are two different things. Heart attack may lead to cardiac arrest. I mean, somebody can have heart attack and the heart is still functioning, even if it's suboptimal. But when there is cardiac arrest, it is that time when the heart stops functioning. So the cardiac arrest, like you say, well, but how do you know the warning signs? Sometimes there may not be any warning sign. Sometimes that's why it's said to be sudden. Somebody can be with you, talking, or suddenly slumps. You can see, you would have heard of the celebrity. There's one that happened, a popular Nigerian that slump where she was performing. You have heard of pastors who slump on the pulpit. You have heard of people who are on the dining table and suddenly they slump. You will watch some videos circulating of people who are even celebrating their birthday. They come out to dance, they dance a little, and then the next thing, on the floor. And people think that they were pretending. And suddenly you realize that they are not pretending. So this is a very important topic to educate the public that when people slump suddenly, the response should not be first or we should what we call high index of suspicion. That means once somebody is slumps, they should rush to check what is going on there. There are ways to know if somebody is having cardiac arrest or otherwise. How do you know? Sudden loss of consciousness, the person just slumps. So what the things that can be checked is this person breathing. If somebody is breathing, you will know. And usually what we do is when somebody slumps, we advise that they are exposed. It's not the time they will choke them and pour in the water. The people should be exposed for air, for oxygen. Their clothes can be opened up or loosened. They will check if they are breathing. So if in an event that somebody slumps, the first thing that should be done is to confirm if that person is unconscious, if the person just slip and fall. If the person is not showing sign of life, that means it's likely this person is in cardiac arrest until proven otherwise. So once you check it's not breathing, you check the heart is not beating. How do you check that the heart is not beating? For non-medical people, it may not be too easy. But for people who have some level of training, there is a big vessel, big artery that is at the root of the neck. Once they place their finger there, you can test your own. When you place a finger there, you will see that it's pulsating. It's hitting you. So when somebody's heart stops beating, when you put a finger there, you will not find that pulse again. So once they can check no pulse, no breathing, you shake the person is not waking up. The first thing to do is to call emergency line. In the case of Lagos, for instance, I think you call 112. I know any other emergency. Call it. So if there are more than one person, it makes it easy. One person calls the emergency line, another person will now be able to, and that's where CPR comes in, that you are asking what should be done. So if the person has been confirmed, the heart is not beating, it's not breathing, the next thing is call one person, or if there are more than one. If you are alone, still call the emergency line immediately after that. Describe the location, but first of all, check that the place is safe for you. You cannot be saving life of someone when you are yourself. So if it's a safe environment, you can begin the CPR. CPR actually is supposed to be something an average person on the street should be able to do. It's not strictly for medical personnel. But even when people are not properly CPR, we still encourage the CPR is not difficult. When they put their one hand on the center of the chest, they support with all the other one, and they make sure that their elbow is straight. So they put one heel, another one on top, on the center of the chest, make sure the elbow is straight, and give a push. So that push can be like 2 inches. That means 2 inches deep. And they press it like that. You can get something like 100 to 120 push in 1 minute. That means average of about 30. In 15 seconds or so. So after every 30 push, if you have people who are trained in CPR, they will give breath. There is the way they position the neck and give 2 breaths for every 30 push. That thing, as simple as it looks, is a lifesaver. That CPR, as simple as it looks, is a lifesaver. In fact, if you don't do anything, for every minute that passes, there is a 10% decrease in the chance of someone surviving that has a cardiac arrest. So that's why it's so important that we have the basic knowledge at office, at home, in the streets, in the church, in the market, instead of people not knowing what to do, pouring someone water, or nothing wrong with praying. But, as you are praying, you use some knowledge. I can tell you for free that people can live if basic CPR is known in the church. Nothing wrong with praying. One group can be praying while people who have knowledge of basic resuscitation like CPR can just save that life. So I don't know if I
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Doctor. Now, let's go on our break, and when we come back, I have a question I want to ask in regard to the Nigerian setting. We'll be right back. Let's go now. We'll be right back. We have been discussing cardiac arrest, and Dr. Emmanuel has actually helped us and taught us how to do the CPR push. Like what he said, if everybody know how to do this thing, lives will be saved. Doctor, I hope you're still very much there with us. Okay, thank you very much for still hanging on there. Doctor, something happened, just like I was explaining to her. The man that died while celebrating the wife's 60th birthday, his friend that is a medical doctor came out to say that he would have saved that man's life if they had allowed him to do the CPR. That while he was trying to do, they say, no, don't hurt him. He was saying this is what will save his life since he's still breathing. And everybody was saying, don't hurt him, leave him alone. And the moment they took him out, before he even got to the hospital, he passed on. And that got me thinking, what is the Nigerian mentality when it comes to somebody suddenly slumming? There was a day I was on my way to work, and a keke rider I think he had seizure, epilepsy. And immediately he started gasping, because I have an idea of what epilepsy and seizure is all about. I said, okay, everybody started shouting, blood of Jesus, Holy Ghost. I said, no, leave him. And then I said, just give him the next 20 to 25 minutes. He would get back. Don't try to pour water. I said, don't do that. And in the next 20 minutes, he got up, cleaned himself, Now, what is the mentality when it comes to somebody suddenly slumming? Because that man would have saved his friend's life from what he was saying. And he was a medical doctor. Generally, as a medical doctor, what is the Nigerian mentality out there? Once somebody just slump, and everybody, some people want to even do it for content creation. Do not start creating content. Somebody slump. We had somebody that was doing a TikTok live, and he slumped while doing his TikTok live, Some just want to start taking pictures. What is that mentality when it comes to sudden slump? Even in churches, in the course of deliverance, somebody will just fall, and you think it's one demon that is taking the person, not knowing that somebody's life is going. Can you help us, generally in that aspect?
Yes, thank you very much. You have raised an important point, which part of what your program is doing is also to create their awareness. Unfortunately, we attribute a lot to either spiritual, money, and then a lot of ignorance has not helped. So when somebody's lost, people are willing to help. But if you want to help and you don't know exactly what to do, you may end up harming the person. So you see a situation where people the first thing they do is gather. A thick crowd around that place, preventing even fresh air and oxygen. People who don't know what to do when someone's sleep, the most they can do is to help to make sure the person is out of danger, no fire, no water, and all that. But it's not the time to lift something. What they do, they make effort to lift the person up immediately. Those are dangerous things to do. They are lifting, they think that by lifting him up, that will make the person to stay alive. No. People should be educated on what to do. If you don't know what to do, call for help, emergency line. And then allow people who know what to do. There is always a leader in a team. So there must be somebody that is a bit enlightened. Allow the person to. So all this crowd and mass effect, usually someone will say, put something in their nose. The other one will say, put a spoon in their mouth. Before you know, there will be blood everywhere because they have used hard objects and spoon to injure the person. So it's an opportunity to tell the public if there's a sudden collapse or loss of consciousness like that, give the person space, let someone that calls for attention, let someone that knows what to do. A CPR is very important. It is better that you err, like they say, on the side of caution. It's better that someone starts a CPR, even if you don't know how to do it so much. Like I have said, the heel of one hand on the center of the chest, the second hand above it, with the elbows stretched, press the chest in repeatedly at about 100 to 120 per minute, even cycles per minute. Even if that's the only thing that you know how to do, I tell you that it can save a life. You will be amazed how somebody can wake up just because they are giving those chest compression. So let it continue. If that's the only thing that can be done, let it be done until somebody that is still in CPR comes around. They can now give mouth-to-mouth breathing or use anything, elbow bagging and the rest of them to do it. When help comes, there's something they call AED, automated external defibrillator. You will see them in movies and in developed countries. Unfortunately, they are not commonly around, but I think some of those ambulances also have them. But the important thing is to know what to do. Don't pour somebody water unnecessarily because the person collapsed and all that, so that you don't end up choking. Don't try to force their mouth open and put a spoon and all those behaviors that can worse. Don't try to force the person to, but then don't crawl around aimlessly, not doing anything particular to help the person. So even in churches, like you said, everything is not about, they should not make everything look like they are mystic. Some simple things can be done. Go and see pastors that you have heard of many big pastors, I don't know if you call them. They are preaching. They're working, they'll just say, and sometimes we say it's outside. They may not have been checking their health properly. And I remember Olori asked about fat people and lean people. It's not necessarily about fat people. We know that obesity has a tendency to expose people to more sicknesses, especially heart-related. But very slim people, a lot of them can also have heart attack because you may be slim and yet they have not functioning well, and yet they have dangerous, uncontrolled high blood pressure. Their cholesterol levels are quite out of order. They use certain kind of drugs, and they may be exposed to trauma. So one can also have cardiac arrest.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emma. I appreciate that, because someone was like, I have to throw that hope onto you. Some are like, it's only the fat people that always have cardiac arrest, and I have to clear that, right now. But the question I want to ask is this: what could be the cause? Can you break it down for us? Help us, for the generality of people who are watching us right now. What exactly can cause the seizure, heart to seize? Because we're talking about cardiac arrest, and you said it's the seizure in the heart. What could be the cause? Is it the food we eat? Is it our lifestyle? Is it by not balancing our work life with our, the general life that we're supposed to be living? What exactly are these things? Can you help us identify them, give us a nugget on them, so that it will help those who are out there who just live life carelessly without putting into cognizance that I need to know what I take, how I take it, the way I live my life, the rest I need to have, you know, all this. Can you help us, sir? Thank you.
Yes, yes, thank you very much. So, cardiac arrest has a number of causes, but like you inquire, lifestyle is so important. Some people have hypertension, they don't give it attention. They are candidates for cardiac arrest. If people have high, what we call lipids, like cholesterol and the rest of them, they are candidates for cardiac arrest. If people use certain drugs, sometimes you see people who take some kind of drugs. You will be hear high profile in America and the rest of them, and we hear that they died quietly, or in their bathtub or in their room. Sometimes they inject themselves some drugs. It just goes to make the heart pack up, and they have cardiac arrest. It can also be trauma. People can engage in fights, or something hits them, or sudden kind of news that will alter their emotions, and then even people who are watching football, as exciting as it can be, and they attach their emotions too much. People have died watching even Nigeria match and all those things. All of those things can cause cardiac arrest. So, so lifestyle is important. People should make sure their blood pressure is carefully monitored. People should make sure that they are not indulged in so much alcohol and tobacco, all those things that can affect the blood pressure and also affect the cholesterol and all that is in the blood vessels. And then drugs. People should be able. There are some drugs that can just lead to cardiac arrest, trauma, and the rest. So some exercise is needed. Like sedentary lifestyle can also cause it. So that's why we encourage people to, even if it's brisk walking, and they go, going to gym is becoming popular again. Beyond that, comfort is also healthy. So healthy lifestyle, good balanced. You can't miss that, because it's an opportunity to eat vegetables and natural products. We don't want this synthesized food, that processed food that will be high in fat and trans fat, which can also clog the blood vessels of the heart. So those are some of the things that can lead to cardiac arrest. So once you reverse those things, check blood pressure, and do some exercise, monitor the numbers, avoid certain drugs, and all those things that will expose the trauma. I mean, be able to reduce this cardiac arrest.
Much, doctor. Someone just sent me a message asking, is it hereditary? Can we say cardiac arrest? Can it be hereditary?
In a way, for hypertension, for instance, it's hereditary. So if somebody has hypertension, sometimes you try to trace does your mother or father or someone in your lineage has hypertension. So that's why I said in a way. However, a lot is caused by lifestyle. Like you said, if people consume a lot of processed food, their lifestyle can make them to become obese. If they become obese, and then people who have a sedentary lifestyle, they don't move around, they will trigger it. So that's why I said, in a way, depending on the cause, if it is arising from hypertension, the high level of fats, lipids in the blood, those things can come from family. So if the person is not conscious, make sure that those things does not accumulate, it can now lead to cardiac arrest. So but on the other hand, if people are conscious of their life, that they will not go so that someone's father died of cardiac arrest or mother does not, there is no direct relationship that the person will have cardiac arrest. The person may even inherit hypertension, but manages it so well that they are, so we cannot directly say genetic.
situation where there is nobody to administer the CPR, you know, or what to do, and there is confusion, what is the timely medical intervention? Is there a set hour that this person can survive before maybe you get to the hospital, or before you get to medical, or I think call the emergency line, and people don't know what to do, nobody to administer? So is there a timely intervention medically that you can say, okay, from this time to this time, this is the chances that this person might survive, before you even get to the hospital or get a medical personnel to attend to the person? Is there a timing to it, or it's just something that once it happens, it's off?
Okay, that's a good question. Again, it depends on the underlying cause. We have said a number of things. For instance, if somebody injects or puts it there, it can, within a few minutes, 5 minutes, the person is gone. We know. So if it's drugs, so it depends on what's underlying. So if it is something like hypertension, you know, or trauma, but the bottom line is that for every minute that passes, 10% survival is abused. So if the person has a 100% size of survival, the first minute we lose 10% is dropping. So it's something that requires rapid response. That's why you hear that some people, before they take them to hospital, they are already gone. Because you know why? If there is a cardiac arrest, the heart is a very important organ. So the heart pumps blood to where? The heart pumps blood to other parts of the body. So if there is cardiac arrest, there will not be blood supply to the brain, and the brain can only stay a couple of minutes without blood and oxygen. So there will not be supply of blood to the brain. There will not be supply of oxygen to the brain. That's why there is that resultant lack of breathing and that loss of consciousness. So it's important that people know what to do. There should not be reason why they should know what to do, because the nearest hospital may not be closed, and sometimes to rush people to hospital, they are rejected. They assume that they are dead. So, you know, or you go to even a government facility, they will keep the no bed space. A lot of people die on the streets because they are moving them from one place to the other. But if people have the basic, that's why the emphasis should be on knowledge. If people have the basic knowledge to do a CPR, for instance, then it should be taught in schools. It should be taught in churches. You know, they can be able to revive the person before any help comes. So if that is done, the chances of survival are higher. Otherwise, within 10 minutes, within 20 minutes, before you reach out and all the protocols, you can lose someone. That's why it is a situation that needs immediate attention. Oxygen is not flowing to the brain. You do not want to be carrying somebody that is not breathing unconscious around. You want to do what can be done, perhaps to revive that person before getting to the nearest facility or help comes.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's an honor to have you once again this morning. Thank you. Done great justice to this, and I want to believe that everyone out there would know that as much as possible, we'll continue to push in and also talk more. A lot of campaign, awareness, advocacy from us here on Galaxy Television, from Family and Values and every other subsequent programs. So we'll continue to do that, and want to acknowledge the fact that you'll be there for us as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and helping us out. Those emergency numbers Dr. Emmanuel was talking about is 767 or 112. 767 or 112. These are the numbers you can call for any emergency, armed robbery, emergency when it has to do with health, fire situation. The number is a toll-free line from Lagos State. If you are in Lagos, that number works, and I have tried it, I have used it even on many of my shows and I've had, you know, feedback. So use that number at any point in time. You know there is a true, not lies, there is a true emergency when it has to do with fire, insecurity, whether if someone is kidnapped, or, you know, there is riots or any fracas or any form of, you know, emergency when it has to do with cardiac, heart, or any emergency at all. You know, those are the numbers: 112 or 767. They are not going to charge you. Just call it, and, you know, the charges go back to Lagos State Pulse. So it's a free toll-free line. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined us this morning. It's another beautiful opportunity for us to learn. You heard it. You can just put your hand 2 inches, 30 counts, you know, and just push in, and after that do a little bit of breath into the person. It saves lives. We need to do this awareness, this campaign in our mosque, in the churches, and every religious and establishments, organizations, everyone, to our children's school. Like I said, a 10-year-old who can administer a CPR can save a life. Can save a life. You may think they are not watching. They are, and they are giving them so much training. And we pray God will continue to keep us safe. My name is Remain Olori. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a splendid day ahead. Bye for now from my side.